everyone, welcome to today's video. I wanted to sit down with you before we move, right before we move, because we move in like 4 days, and talk to you guys a little bit about the packing tips and tricks that I have used to make this move go smoothly. So if you're not aware yet, we're moving very, very soon, in a matter of days. And I am now almost completely ready to move. I feel like you're never fully ready to move until right up to the day, and then maybe you're not even fully ready then, but we're about as ready as we'll ever be. I'm a person who is very organized. I like my planners, I like my to-do lists. I like to keep on top of things because it makes me feel at peace. It makes me feel like I have things under control without having to put out a maximum amount of effort, and it reduces my stress so much. So if you were like me and you are looking for tips for your next move, or perhaps you're moving and you're feeling chaotic, then this list might be helpful for you. This isn't one of those lists that I've just thrown together and I'm like, these things are helpful, and I haven't actually used them. These are actual practical things that I have done and am doing in my move that have reduced my stress and made this a lot easier and more organized. My plan is to be completely finished unpacking in the first 5 to 6 days of moving in, and completely done all the decorations and everything, and decorating my house and finding places for everything by the end of the second week. So that might sound really ambitious, that might sound slow, it depends on the kind of mover you are, but the things I've done to prepare for the move have made those things a possibility, and that way we will be settled quickly and I'll be able to begin working again and homeschooling the kids as effortlessly as possible. There will be hiccups, but hopefully this will make it so there's not so many. Okay, so enough yammering, let me get on with my 12 tips that I have for you that are practical and that I am actually using to move as easily as possible. So tip number 1 is declutter, and I know that's obvious and that's something everybody normally does before a move, but I feel like if you don't declutter properly, this can be a very overlooked step. Decluttering is so important if you want to be able to unpack efficiently later, because if you pack junk that you don't want to deal with and you're like, whatever, I'll just deal with it when we move, you don't actually want to deal with it later. Just if you deal with it now and get it out of your house or donate it, sell it, whatever you need to do, don't pack junk, because it will just make your life way harder later, and you might as well just get it out of the way and deal with it so that the rest of your move can be smooth. So definitely declutter before you move if it's possible. My second tip is maybe a little bit different. If you've noticed in my packing vlog and my pack with me vlog that I posted in the last vlog, so the vlog before this, it'll be in the end card when this video ends, would be to pack in bins rather than boxes if you are able to. Now I did use both, but the majority of my items are packed in bins. There are companies that you can rent these bins from. Our bins are from Canadian Tire. I'm sure there are a lot of other bins that are equivalent at other places that you might be able to get them from, like hardware stores, you can rent them. But they just make packing so much easier. They're sturdier. They protect things better. They just snap closed so you don't have to worry about them. They stack really wonderfully without a lot of shifting, and I found that I can get a lot of stuff in them, and I just found moving with bins instead of boxes this time to be so much easier than all the other times I just moved with moving boxes. I don't feel like the bottom's gonna unfold and untape and fall out. And I found I was able to just organize different sections of the house better, and I felt more confident packing things like my china in these bins instead of a cardboard box. So if you can and you have it available, I definitely recommend packing in bins rather than boxes. My third is maybe again a little obvious, but create lists and tackle things one at a time. Moving can be such an overwhelming process, and having to look at your house and then pack it all up can be a lot. So I always like to pick a day. What I did was I picked a day and I made that list day. I sat down with a tea and I just thought of everything I could that I needed to tackle. I started with big things like, okay, obviously pack the living room, pack the kitchen, But then I was able to break that down into smaller lists, more detailed things, so that maybe the kitchen had a couple of lists to go with it that I was able to check off. And this just made it so much easier as I got more and more surrounded with boxes, as things got messier, as they tend to do when you're just packing everything and pulling everything out. I was able to just focus on those lists that I had made, knowing that I had already thought about all these things that I currently felt like I didn't have time to think about, or I was wondering if I was missing something. Making lists saves my brain from having to do thinking because I've already done the thinking, and I can trust myself knowing that I did this already, so just robotically check off the boxes, do the thing it says, and check it off and move on. So that was a huge thing that has helped me, and I think that helps me with so many things in my life, but especially with moving. Making lists and just taking it one item on the list at a time makes it so much smoother. Kind of going with that is tip number 4, which would be to be organized and start early to reduce as much stress as possible. So when you know you're moving, start that process. Get your lists ready. Start putting away things that you're not using. Start packing up things. Maybe start decluttering. Just start the process early so that you have less to do later, because I promise you, your move date will sneak up on you and it will just happen all of a sudden, it feels like. And the closer you get to your move, the more things come up on the to-do list. It's just like, oh yeah, I forgot that this has to happen, and you have to switch things over, and more gets added, and that can get more and more overwhelming. So do as much as you can as early on as possible. Get your moving truck arranged, gather boxes, find supplies, do all those things, and be organized, because it will be so much less stressful at the end of things if you do more in the beginning. Tip number 5 is kind of a multi-tip. That would be to start by room. I picked my living room, I think was the first room I packed, because my living room has a lot of, pictures and things like that that I don't need. Those are nice things, but I don't need them to survive and live my daily life. So those are the things that got packed first. Starting my room made things a lot easier. And then also make sure to pack your most important, most used bits last. Make sure you know where those boxes are and bring them first into the new house when you move. So I have the last bits, boxes, and bags. Sometimes if you're not moving far, I use laundry baskets for this. Anything, it doesn't have to necessarily be a clothes thing, but in these boxes go all my cleaners, my packing tape, my markers, like paper towel, my purse, like things like that go into these boxes that you make sure go first into the new house. The things you will absolutely know you will need to function as a human when you first arrive. Toilet paper. Pack toilet paper. Tip number 6 would be pack anything soft in a garbage bag. Don't waste precious box or bin space on soft items because they take up a ton of room. I pack them in garbage bags. I don't tie them in double knots so they're impossible to get apart when you move. Tie them in a nice bow so that you can just take all the garbage bags that you have used to pack and recycle them, and you won't have to buy another garbage bag for a very long time. But it makes it easier because they're lightweight and they don't take up box space, because if you have to buy boxes, they're very expensive for a box. It's kind of ridiculous. So I would definitely recommend packing blankets, clothes. Do the hanger trick where you group together hangers and put a bag over them and tie it. It makes it so much easier. Anything soft goes in a bag. That's my rule. Pillows, blankets, everything. Tip number 7 would be to keep a running list that you will continuously add to, so you know where it is at all times, of things that you will need for your new house. I don't know about other people, but as I'm packing, I'm like, oh, I've run out of this, or oh, we're gonna need this, or oh, I have an entirely other bathroom that I don't have in this house in my new house, so I'm going to need extra hand soap. Oh, I'm gonna need dish soap when we move. I'm going to need cleaner, or toilet paper, bring toilet paper. So many things like that. I keep a running list of things that I'm going to need to purchase for the new house. And then if you want to be super ambitious, you can purchase those things and put them in your first moving box. That could be really easy and save you a lot of time as well. But these things that you might need right away would go into your open first box that you'll bring into your house when you first move. It'll be one of the first boxes in, and you'll be like, open me first, and that'll have all your most important things that you might be forgetting, and just all these little things that you might not think about that you definitely need. Like to wash a dish, you need dish soap and a cloth or a sponge or something like that. So this can be a very helpful tip. Tip number 8 is to pack to make unpacking easier. So when you're packing your boxes or bins, keep in mind how you will unpack those items. So I packed in a way that was maybe not as space efficient, space saving, and I probably could have fit a lot more in a lot of the boxes, but I packed my boxes to make them easy for me to unpack. I know I have a pretty ambitious deadline for when I would like to have my house fully unpacked and functioning. So in order to accomplish that, I made sure I packed my boxes in a way that would make them very easy to unpack. So if I had things already organized in, say, a small basket, I just put the whole basket in there and filled the bottom of the bin or the box with the organized baskets, and then laid like picture frames or something on top of them, or something that could go flat, or something that could, you know, squish them and not harm them. So I packed in a way that is going to be so easy. So I'll just open a box and things just go from the box to their spot. I won't have to put things back into the organized baskets and things like that. Some stuff I couldn't help but take out, but whenever I could, I tried to make the unpacking process easier for my future self. Tip number 9, which I'm sure you've heard this before, is to wrap your breakables in soft items. Now, I think some people this might work for, where they grab the socks and their underwear and they wrap things in them. I don't want to be having giant piles of laundry that I now have to go find homes for when I move. So I use things like packing my dishes in dish towels, because the dish towels still remain in the kitchen with the dishes. I used recycled brown paper bags from the grocery store. I had been collecting them for a few months. When we would go to the grocery store, we get brown paper bags, and I just tore them up and used them to wrap dishes and cups and things like that in. So you can use blankets or throws. You can like put maybe a throw blanket on the bottom of something that's going to have a lot of breakables in it, and then place them in there wrapped. So just, you can by all means use anything soft in your house, but just keep in mind, if you're using your socks to pack your teacups or something, you're going to have to return those socks to the bedroom, and that might be inconvenient later. Of course, that's not all I used. I did also use packing paper and a little bit of bubble wrap, but you might be able to save some environmental impact by maybe going online or something and asking if people had any moving boxes or packing paper. And often you'll get really lucky with that and just get passed on packing goods. Tip number 10 is label your boxes. Another one that seems pretty obvious, but it is so handy when you're moving. The way I label my boxes is where, what, and if it's fragile. There is a little fruit fly in here that is driving me crazy. So I label my boxes like this. It's where they're going in the house. So kitchen, what is in it? Dishes, you know, like towels, the cookie jar, I don't know. Hi, Carly. And then whether or not it is fragile, I make it really apparent on the box, and it makes it so much easier. I have a guest, apparently. She's just going away with me. Okay. But that way, when somebody, if you have help and helpers, those people don't know your house and where you want things. So if they just pick up a box, you'll be like, okay, this one goes to the kitchen, so they'll just make a kitchen pile. This one goes into the master bedroom. All right. It makes it a lot easier when you're sorting through boxes. You can just kind of put them in the house, in the rooms they go in, and then kind of like you packed room by room, you can go in and unpack room by room. Tip number 11 is kind of another multi-tip. That would be to change your address. Don't forget to change your address on all the things. There are so many things you forget to change your address on. Make sure you call your doctor and your vet and everywhere else, Amazon, everything, and change your address to your new house right before your move to make things easier, so that you're not continuously picking up mail from your old address or having to get things forwarded and delayed, or you order a package and you totally forget that you hadn't changed your address yet. So make sure you change your address on things. And kind of with the address things, if this is kind of like a little bit of like a luxury sidestep moving tip, But if you have somewhere that delivers groceries, I highly recommend changing your address on that, but then ordering yourself a order of groceries that will arrive either the day you move or a couple days after, because you will thank yourself when you're in the middle of unpacking and you're being so busy and all of a sudden you get a knock on the door and there's groceries delivered to your front door that you can just fill the fridge with, and you don't have to worry about grocery shopping, because food when you're moving, everybody knows how stressful that can be, and it's a big chore in itself. So it's kind of a little, like I said, it's a little bit of a luxury item, but if you have somewhere that delivers groceries, I highly recommend setting up a grocery delivery to your new house around the time that you move. And my number 12 last tip is one that I almost always forget, but it is so handy. If you have a piece of furniture with important hardware, tape the hardware to the furniture. I can't even tell you how many times I've been, however good intentioned, being like, oh, I'll just put that in the toolbox in a baggie and I'll know where it is. No, tape that bad boy super, super well to the piece of furniture. If it is a piece of furniture that can't have any other hardware, it needs the specific hardware, just tape it to the furniture. You will thank yourself when you're not trying to dig for the hardware or when you're trying to put furniture together. I did this with like my kids' little IKEA wall lamps, the moons and stuff like that. I put the specific screws that go to that thing, I taped them inside the moon so that I wouldn't lose them, and like bed hardware, tape it to the furniture. You're welcome. Anyway, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope maybe there were some tips in there that you could use for your next move. If you're moving, good luck and congratulations. If you're just watching this, then thanks just for watching a moving vlog or like a moving video when you're not moving. I really appreciate you. I am so excited for our move. It is so soon. I'm so incredibly happy and excited. I keep saying excited, but I really am. And I can't wait to take you guys along and show you our new house. Of course, there will be an empty house tour that I am filming very early next week. I'm very excited. There might be a little bit of a pause in vlogs because I have to pack up my computer and everything, obviously. So if there is a day next week where I don't upload a video, maybe Monday or Thursday, I should hopefully have a video on Thursday, and I'm going to try and pre-upload a video for you guys on Monday. But if it so happens that you don't see a video from me, just know that I'm setting up my computer and doing my best, and I will be filming. Thanks for itching, Carly. I'm shaking the whole bed. So when I do start uploading again, when my computer's back together, then you guys will start to see those videos that I have filmed for you, like the house tour and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, then make sure you do that, because doing things like that helps stimulate the channel and stimulate growth, and it helps me and makes it extra worth it for me to continue putting all the effort into editing and posting these videos. But also I just like to hang out with you guys. That's the main important thing. So thank you for watching, you guys. We will see you in my next one. It is almost moving time. Bye.